Welcome to House Fluent Inspections Radio, where we hope you enjoy stress-free home buying, home selling, and home ownership. I'm your host, Brian Botch, owner of House Fluent Inspections. I'm joined today by Bill Beck. We are both licensed professional inspectors here in the state of Texas, and we want to help relieve that anxiety, alleviate those butterflies, and empower you to make smart, informed decisions by arming you with information about your home. Well, Bill, Kelly, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Man,
Hello.
This week flew by. Holy cow.
Fast.
This week was fast.
It's because of the snow.
The snow, right?
Yeah.
The snow here in Texas.
Snowpocalypse.
The 15 minutes of snowpocalypse.
Blizzard.
Great blizzard of 2020.
The snow blowing.
I got a couple snow pellets that hit the window. That was
Yeah.
It's frightening though.
It was scary.
Terrifying. All right, so I have a story for you guys today.
All right, story time. Let's
Yeah,
go.
story time. So
Here's a story.
in honor of a guy that kind of helped inspire this little show, worked for a company called Mojo 50 Radio and passed away about a year ago.
Okay.
We're going to attempt something this morning, and if it fails miserably, you can just blame it on my amateur status.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready?
All right.
All right, so Bill, Kelly, I want you guys to treat this story with the respect that it deserves.
Hold on.
I want you to give it the
let me
proper
get
respect.
Let me get centered. Let me get my happy place.
All right, you guys ready?
Okay.
All right. So firefighters were dispatched to a home in Niceville, Florida, and arrived at about 5:30 p.m. When they pulled up to the scene, they could see smoke coming from the inside of the house, and a man opened the door, said, "I'm sorry," and promptly closed it. However, they noticed several things while the door was open. They noticed that several things were on fire inside the home, including some towels. The second thing they noticed is that the man showed no signs of understanding the danger that he was in, and he appeared to be suffering the effects, of smoke inhalation. And then the third thing they noticed is that he was, naked.
I was going to say, he has to be naked. They're always naked.
That's kind of like the
So-
naked.
drunk.
He's sorry.
Uh-huh.
Smoke coming from the house. And they
Towels
saw
on
several
fire.
things on fire.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
So about this time, the police arrived, and the man returned to the door, at which time he was promptly removed from the home and detained for his own safety.
Okay.
Probably a good idea.
The firefighters immediately rushed in the house with oxygen masks on to try and remove the things that were on fire. And what do you suppose they discovered while they were in the home, Bill?
$1 million on fire.
No, it wasn't $1 million. Kelly? Now remember, this is a family show.
I know. So I'm gonna have to temper my answer because my mind just went.
No,
Right,
I
where's
just
that
read a
supposed to
story
be?
this morning. The guy burned $1 million so he didn't have to pay child support.
Wow.
In cash. Anyway, thought maybe it was tied together.
Sidetrack.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a fondue pot.
Close. So, here's what they discovered. The man was attempting to bake cookies on a George Foreman grill in his kitchen. When they caught on fire,
Still
But-
the plastic.
not to worry, he decided to smother the fire with dry towels, which promptly caused it to spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, throughout the home.
He never thought about unplugging the damn thing.
Apparently not. Never thought about that. Never thought about, throwing a bucket of water on it.
It's George Foreman. It's not like it's an open flame. You unplug it.
So, not
Didn't even know
surprising.
you could make cookies in there, but okay.
Yeah, so not surprising, the man later admitted to drinking and smoking the marijuana up to 8 hours prior to the fire department arriving.
Was that the smoke coming from the house? Or?
Right? No,
Well-
it wasn't a Cheech and Chong episode.
My question is, why are we naked bacon?
Naked, well,
Yeah.
you can blame that on the
Why do
marijuana.
they always seem to be naked on top of this?
No
They're
idea.
always naked. It's like,
So-
who?
So, as you guys can imagine, we are planning today to talk about fire safety.
Okay.
And first fire safety tip, don't bake cookies on a George Foreman grill.
Well,
Or at least have pants on when you do it.
Or at least have pants on when you do it.
if they catch on fire, you might want to unplug it.
That's right.
All right.
All right. Remember, you can always tweet at us at HouseFluent. You can use that hashtag MyHomeQuestion. We do try and get to those on the show. You can find us on Facebook or at Instagram or at housefluent.com. If you are listening to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app, please hit that subscribe button. And we would appreciate that. That does help us out a ton. So, Bill, Kelly, how you guys feeling today?
I'm not gonna bake any cookies.
Not gonna
Maybe later.
You ready to talk about some fire safety stuff?
Sure.
All right, let's
do it.
do this. So, according to the American Red Cross bill, fall and winter, which is what we're in right now, we're in winter. We're coming to the end of it, but we are in it. They are the worst times of the year, or should I say the times when house fires actually peak,
Okay.
which makes sense, right?
Makes sense.
I mean, winter, people are trying to stay warm, and there's all kinds of stories out there, not only baking George Foreman cookies on the grill, but or cookies on the George Foreman grill, but there was a story recently where a guy literally lit his porch on fire to stay warm.
I can't help but to keep going back to it. Was he making special cookies?
I don't know. I have no idea. It
Okay.
could very well be. Anyway, in looking, at all the information around the fire statistics, the most recent ones are actually compiled by FEMA.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually have a division in FEMA called the United States Fire Administration. Do you guys know that?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, so their whole job is actually to keep track of fires in the United States. And they do a fairly good job. They keep track of about 75% of them.
Okay.
And they go through and they compile this data, and then they take that data and they send it out to data analysts, fire departments, people in the fire safety industry to try and help raise awareness about what's causing these things, how we can maybe get better at preventing them, things like that, and to try and reduce the number of them, right?
Right.
So FEMA released their most recent report, okay? And we're going to go down the causes, the primary causes, and just talk about those and some things that, we see during inspections, maybe some things you can do as a homeowner to try and, help reduce your opportunity for that to occur.
Okay.
Okay? So, Bill, what would you guess the number one cause of house fires?
Stupidity.
That would be a great guess. And that may be so. They don't track stupidity. They don't even track grilling cookies on the kitchen grill, but what they do track is cooking. And so the reason I used that story, the number one cause of house fires, 51.6% cooking.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up. I have a neighbor's house I've seen the dumpster out in their front yard for months now, and I thought maybe they sold the house and they were moving and they were remodeling or something, which is funny because the house is only like 5 years old.
Right?
I was talking to another neighbor, and they said, no, they caught the house on fire because they were cooking in the garage.
Oh, nice. Were they cooking the turkey?
No, I don't know.
Because that's a big one. People don't know how to cook the frozen turkey.
They were frying stuff, but it wasn't deep frying a turkey. But
Yeah.
anyway, somehow they caught the garage on fire and burned some of the house. So,
Oh, my goodness.
but they were cooking in the garage. So
Wow.
with the garage door closed, I believe too. So,
Oh, wow.
Well, that's nice.
That's
That's good.
That's great. Not a great decision there.
hence why I go back to my number one answer. So.
Stupid. Nice. So some of the things that we look for, when we're doing inspections is things like if you have a gas cooktop, we're looking for that gas shutoff valve. And we're looking for it to be in an accessible location, right? And why is that, Bill? Why do you want that to be in an accessible location?
So you can shut it off if you have a fire.
If you have a fire, right? And so where do we find them most of the time?
Usually, they're supposed to be usually they're in a cabinet to the left or the right of the stovetop.
If they're new construction, that's true.
Yes, and there's usually a cutout in the wall in the back of the cabinet that you can get to the valve.
Yeah, you want it to be within about 6 feet or so of the appliance, and you want it to be able to be an area you can reach, right? So if you can imagine accidentally having a grease fire on your cooktop and you can't get to the knobs to turn them off, and you go to shut the gas and you have to crawl underneath your cooktop after having removed the drawers underneath it, all while everything above you's on fire, that's not a great place to be, is it?
So the first reaction is throw a towel over it.
Throw a towel over it, right? A dry towel.
I mean, it's hard not to do that. That is, unless you wet the towel or something,
Yeah.
your first reaction is put something on top of it.
Put something on top of it.
I thought the first reaction was put on pants.
Put on, maybe.
But yeah, if it's not a newer constructed house where it usually has something accessible, it's almost always behind the unit, either in drawers or if it's a slide out unit, it's back behind it.
And so if it's not accessible, really the only way you have to turn the gas off at that point is to run out to the gas meter.
Shut the whole house off.
and shut the house off.
Good luck with that.
At times.
On a valve that's probably been turned on once.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, exactly.
But that is your only option.
So the other thing I would recommend is obviously if you don't keep a fire extinguisher in the kitchen, and many people don't, do it. They're not that expensive. Put it right under the sink. It's a great thing to have, you just never know.
Yeah, it's
And
better
almost
to...
everybody's started at least one fire in their garage. I mean, their kitchen. I have. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to do it.
Or your garage.
Well, that's
Or
the
your
place.
garage.
That's the place where you've got open flames going, right? I mean, you have fires going in your kitchen. You're intentionally starting a fire, right, to cook your food.
Turned gas on before and thought I turned it off, and it was still going. And
Yeah,
usually you smell it, but I mean, we've been in new houses that have gas leaks, so
yeah, absolutely. So, in fact, now that you bring that up, we were in a brand new construction house just recently, where we pulled the drawer out under the cooktop, and there was a gas leak where the appliance connector went into the cooktop. So if you own a home, those are things, if you notice a little bit of a gas aroma near your cooktop, or maybe you have a gas oven, those are things, check that. Don't just assume that, hey, it's because I'm cracking the gas valve open a little bit and I'm getting a little bit of that gas aroma.
Yeah.
Actually check those appliance connectors. Make sure they're not leaking, because they certainly can, especially, if it's new and it's, maybe they didn't quite tighten it down enough, or, who knows?
Yeah.
didn't test it for leaks when they put it in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You just never know. So,
I mean, most people's test is,
yeah.
smells good.
Right. That's exactly right.
I can't say mine isn't the same one, but
So if someone did smell a little bit of a gas aroma, how would they check to see if there was a leak? I mean, aside from the sniff test.
you can use there's a liquid you can put on it with a little dauber on there, and it'll bubble. If that's the cheapest way, but it's actually one of the best ways to check it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty fail safe. I mean, if you dab it on there, I don't know, it's some kind of solution but it
Yeah, soap and water can work too.
Soap and
So
water, yeah. It's
you
probably
put
what it
that
is.
on there, and the pressure of the gas and the chemicals in it make the soap bubble.
Yeah, you can just put it in a little spray bottle and squirt it on the
Yeah,
fitting.
absolutely can. And it'll bubble up just like as if you were holding an inner tube underwater in a bathtub or something. You'll see the bubbles coming up. So that's a great way to check for gas leaks. All right, so the second leading cause, Bill, it's a pretty steep drop. It drops from 51% down to 9%, but still a pretty steep drop. Number 2 cause, what would you think it would be?
of fires other than cooking.
Other than cooking and stupidity.
Probably lightning.
No, but that's a great guess. No, so number 2 cause is actually your heating system. So
like floor registers or whatever.
Yeah.
The floor heater. We don't have a lot
baseboard
of those here, but
heaters and space heaters.
throw their
Well, actually,
clothes,
not even space
they
heaters.
throw
This is
something
your
on top
your
of
home
the
heating system.
space heater, and it gets hot. Yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't even space heaters. This is just your home heating system. And so some of that is just a product of a lack of maintenance, right? So if you're not getting your heater serviced every year, you probably should. One of the things, they recommend, and we certainly do too, is change your filters pretty regularly. Dirt and dust that get in there and get into that burner chamber can ignite, right? So that's something that's...
So can the filter itself when it gets sucked
when
all
it
the
gets
way.
sucked all the way in, which Bill has
Which
seen
we
many
see
times.
a lot. Which
Bill
we
has seen
see
that
a
many
lot. I
times.
just had one this week that I couldn't even get out. It was so pulled into the unit.
Yeah,
It was so dirty.
yeah. The other thing that one of the fire prevention organizations recommends is check your flue every year. So not really a problem too much here unless you've got a cap missing off of the appliance vent on your roof. But in certain areas, they've actually found dead birds and things in those flues in the summertime, and then people fire them up in the winter. Those things ignite and cause problems. So make sure those flues are clean. Another thing is inspect your burner flame. So if you're not going to get it serviced, pull the cover off, turn it on, make sure things are burning right. I can still remember, Bill, it was in my college days, and I went to visit a buddy of mine who lived in Avon Lake, Ohio.
Okay.
And he was in an apartment. It was right on the lake. It was awesome view. And I was sleeping on his couch. And I can still remember my first night there. It was pretty chilly in Ohio. And he turned the heater on. And I'm laying there and I hear this tick, 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 tick. And it's just ticking for, I don't know, what seemed like forever. I'm sure it was just a few seconds, but it sure seemed like a while. And then suddenly you hear this whoosh.
It lit.
It lit. And about a 3-foot flame shot out of his closet into the room. I later asked him about it, and he said, "No, that's just always worked that way." He goes, "I've called him several times, but no one's ever come to address it." He goes, "I just know not to stand anywhere near it when it lights."
It's the afterburner.
So
Is he still with us? Or,
He is.
you know? Wow.
yeah, he's still with us. He's got
He just doesn't have eyebrows.
got a wife and a beautiful family, but yeah. So
Takes me right back to like Christmas Story or whatever.
right.
Kicking the oil furnace down.
So yeah. So your furnace can actually, cause problems for you if it's not well maintained, right? So
Yeah.
again, get that annual inspection done. That's huge, and it's going to save you a lot of heartache. So what do you think is next? What's next on the list?
I already said lightning.
Yeah, no, it's not lightning.
It's not lightning. All
Not
right.
lightning. Not
Probably
stupidity.
electrical fire.
It is electrical. Bam! Bill Beck gets the winning ding, 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 ding. You get the ribbon.
Just trying to think of all the fires I've started, and I'm going down the list. So
Yeah.
it's an electrical fire.
You started an electrical fire?
Oh,
Why don't you tell us about that?
shut stuff off before you try to find it. With a metal rod.
Nice.
Perfect instrument. You know when you're
Nice.
there.
Yeah.
That did start a fire. Most of the time I start a fire, it's in the microwave.
Yeah, there you go. So electrical fires. So we actually don't, I wouldn't say we see a lot of electrical fires, but we see a lot of signs and symptoms that indicate that an electrical fire is possible, right? So we'll open an electrical panel many times. I won't say many times. We have many times opened electrical panels and seen, melted wiring, wiring that's arcing, breakers that are loose. What are some of the other things we've seen, Bill, that, are kind of indications of that?
Indications of fire.
A potential fire, yeah.
We see a lot of junction boxes without covers on them. We see taped wires just taped together. We see...
Yeah. I've seen them
see a
just
lot
twisted
on
together.
Newer homes, you just see a lot of double taps. You see
What's a double tap?
it's where you're using the same breaker to run multiple things,
Multiple circuits,
usually.
yeah.
And so you're double loading the system.
Yeah. We've seen it where they've just cut wires and left them dangling in the panel.
Large wires.
And and those things, even though they're dangling there and they're cut, if they're not properly insulated, not properly terminated, those things can cause arcing, right? And we've seen that happen.
We've seen open hots. There was a house we were at. There was an open hot wire in their pantry.
Yeah,
Remember that one?
that's right. Yeah, they had
Did that house have a gas leak too? I don't remember.
I
but
can't remember if it had a
open.
gas leak or not.
They
but
usually go together though. It's
it
amazing.
does seem like that. But yeah, no, you were absolutely right. It had just a live wire
Yep.
sticking out of the wall
In the pantry.
In the pantry.
Wow.
And it's a miracle that no one ever got
Yeah.
shocked because, literally they would put food and stuff all
Yeah,
around it.
they're
And
in and out
You
there
just
all
go
the
reaching
time.
for the
yeah, we asked the homeowner about it, and she said, "Oh no, that's always been there." She goes, "We never thought it had power to it or anything," and sure enough, it did. It was live, and
live.
they built the house and just forgot to put an outlet.
Nice.
And
pantry.
yeah, and it was coming out of a receptacle
It was a
box.
newer house,
and,
too.
Yeah.
Another sign I just thought of. What about your outlet plates that have all the soot and stuff around them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
See a lot
you
of that
see that, that's
older
a
house.
huge red flag, and we do see that.
See a lot of old houses. The old 2-wire houses. You see that.
Where it's melted. Yeah.
And now but everybody's plugged that one in too. That where you're plugging it,
Yeah.
or you pull it out and you can see sparks come off of
Right.
it.
Yeah. If you're seeing those types of
favorite.
things, it's time to call an
Makes me
electrician.
think of my grandma right away.
Yeah.
Just grandma's house.
Yeah. So
Throw another adapter on there. You're fine.
yeah, right. So,
Good old days.
another power strip tied to another power strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cleans it up that way.
It does.
So, but yeah, no, outlets for sure. And then mixing metals, right? So everybody hears about the aluminum wiring scare or whatever. And really the problem with aluminum wiring is where it joins to other dissimilar metals like copper.
Right.
Right. And so if you're not joining those the way they're supposed to be joined, you're not using appropriate connectors, that can cause problems. And we have seen that cause problems.
See a lot of that on remodels where they put in
Yeah.
a new panel, but then tie it into all the old wiring.
Yeah.
And some are done fairly well, and some are definitely not.
Yeah. So Bill, what do you think is next on your list?
All right, we've done cooking.
Cooking. Yeah. We're going cooking.
What's the second one?
Heating.
Heating.
Mm-hmm. Electrical.
Electrical.
You hit the main ones.
I'm not gonna say lighting anymore because you keep telling me no. So.
Yeah. No, lighting is nowhere on the list.
Okay, good. As long as I know that.
Yeah. It's off the list. We're not going to go that far down.
So the fireplace.
Man, you nailed it. Open flame. So your neighbor that burned his garage down, open flame.
Yeah. Open flame. I'm surprised that was not higher up on the list, but
Yeah, so fire pits, fireplaces.
sparks
Yep, sparks popping out
and wood floors.
and wood floors and
You
carpet.
mean I shouldn't MIG weld in the middle of my living room?
Something like that, yeah. So don't be welding your car parts in the center of your carpet.
But then
So
I can watch TV at the same time. It's so convenient.
yeah, right. So you and I have seen something. Now, I don't know whether this is related to open flame or not. We can debate that, but you and I have seen an oven that was installed above carpet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so carpet in the kitchen, and not like outdoor carpet, not industrial carpet, not the it was shag carpet.
And that was a brand
New house.
Who would even spec a house out that way?
Don't know. So
There's a story behind that one.
Yeah.
But we don't need to go into
so
it.
Okay.
ultimately, the homeowner is going to replace the floor.
But yes.
But
They would have had to get it inspected the way it was.
Yeah.
That was a new one. I mean, yeah, that was the first. It's right up there with carpeted bathrooms. But
It is.
Never really understood that one either.
yeah, but
Especially if you have boys.
Just
Carpet-
reminds me of that commercial on TV where the guys have the carpeted shower.
right?
You seen that one?
No.
Where it's like, well, that's just wrong, and he's taking a shower and
I think Kelly watches too much TV. What do you think, Bill?
probably.
It had to be in the 70s.
Yeah.
No, it was shag carpet in the shower. It was really disgusting. Yeah.
Sounds really disgusting.
Sounds great.
So, anyway, so some of the problems we see with fireplaces that people should look out for. So, if you've got a wood burning fireplace, a wood burning fire pit, something like that, and even if you have a gas one, look every year at your firebox. Look at the place where you're putting the wood. Make sure there's no mortar deterioration. Make sure there's no cracks in it. Even the factory built ones, we'll see cracks in those firewalls from time to time. Especially if you burn a lot of hot fires and things like that. Obviously, clean your flue annually, typical maintenance stuff. And, get an annual inspection if you can. Like, those things are important.
You can always hire a chimney sweep to come out and take a look at it.
Absolutely, yeah. So the next one down is what they call other heat. Those are your space heaters and things like that. I'm going to kind of skip that one because that one's been beat to death. But the next one on the list, Bill, is something that we do see from time to time, and that's appliances. Mm-hmm. So, Bill, why don't you talk about the water heater in that condo recently? It was, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so. And, it was in the garage. You pulled the electric cover plates off of the water heater itself, and the bottom one was all, what was that?
That was on the thermostat.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you pull the cover for the thermostat, the wiring was all charred in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that a new condo?
Yeah, it was a newish condo.
Yeah.
It was only a few years old.
We've seen that, I think, twice now, where we pulled the
Yeah, just recently.
cover off and the wiring was burnt on the thermostat on an electric water heater.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are things, check those every year. Check those every year. Be very, very careful when you're doing that. There's live electricity in there. Mm-hmm. Shut the power off before you open those cover plates. That's the best thing you can do. But check them because, those things can fail. Mm-hmm. They can. Ovens are another place, right? And so we've seen issues with ovens before where, they've had wiring that's overheated and things. It's typically on very, much older wiring, but we have seen them.
Take a look at all your vent ducts too for all those appliances, especially the gas burning appliances. Make sure the ducting, removing the exhaust out of the house is in good condition. You see a lot of those that are coming apart. The tapes coming apart where they've taped the seams together and joints, and they're loose, and or they're up against combustibles.
Yeah, that's another one, right? Don't please do not store your gasoline next to your gas water heater. Just don't do it, right? There's no reason for that. If you spill a little bit and the gas goes underneath there into the burner chamber, you got a big problem.
You just made me picture my whole garage.
But yeah.
I have two.
Hence the need for a firewall between your home and your garage.
So, idea, yes.
So the last one we're gonna talk about really, we've got a couple more on the list, but the last one we're really gonna talk about is smoking, Bill. I know that's a problem for you. You're a big smoker.
Yeah. Chain smoker.
Chain smoker. Right. So most people these days, if they're not vaping, I don't know, like most people have switched by now, haven't they?
It is almost funny now when you see someone actually smoking an
I know.
actual cigarette.
Yeah, you're like, wait,
wow,
what?
People still do that?
Yeah.
Really? You still get those? What are they, like $20 a pack now? I mean,
right.
But yeah, I haven't heard anybody vaping themselves to death in their sleep, but or
Yeah, so
I've heard about the vaping batteries going bad and burning.
Yeah.
I just remember my grandmother. One time I was working on my car in her garage, and I had pulled the drain plug off the fuel tank, and I couldn't get it back on.
And she's over there smoking
fuel all over the garage as I'm laying under the car, and she's notorious for having the 1.5-inch long butt hanging from the end of her cigarette, and she opened that door, and I'm like, get out!
Hey, at least she's not doing it while she's cooking dinner.
She's not that bad. She wasn't that bad, but she always had that baby just hanging. You're just waiting for it to fall.
So do you guys remember a few years ago when streaming was just sort of really picking up? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was a Japanese man that was streaming on the internet live, and he was showing off his smoking ability, and had a homemade. This is actually kind of a semi-famous thing. You can actually look it up on YouTube. It's out there. But he made a holder, and he accidentally ignited the holder for his cigarette while he was streaming on television, on the internet.
Okay.
And so he's freaking out. He's trying to put the thing out. Well, as he's doing it, he threw the lit match behind him, not thinking.
Yeah.
And it landed in the wastebasket.
That's right up there with the gun safety video, shooting yourself.
So he finally gets the flame out. Of course, the people on his stream are telling him, "Hey, there's a fire behind you."
Yeah.
He turns around, sees the fire in the wastebasket, but not to worry, Bill. Not to worry.
I think I've seen this.
Smart. He's going to smother the fire
with
cardboard. Burned 30% of his house down live on the internet.
Wow.
Boy, how many times was that one watched?
Still being watched.
Went viral fast.
All right, so the last one, and then we'll move on.
That's pretty good.
The last one is equipment malfunctions, and so this is I like to call this Kelly's garage.
God, throw me in.
I had a cousin burn down half her apartment up in Seattle over I think it was a boombox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was in her bathroom, and I'll tell you what. You don't think much about a fire, and it wasn't a big fire.
Yeah.
But when plastic burns,
oh, it's bad.
That black, soot stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then when it catches fire, it drips and it doesn't.
But that soot gets on everything.
Yeah.
She had dishes and stuff in the cupboards that were closed.
Yeah.
They were covered in that stuff. It puts a film on everything. It's in the smell. Oh, it was bad. But it was over. It went bad and it caught on fire.
Yep. All right. So remember, you can always tweet at us at HouseFluent. Use that hashtag MyHomeQuestion. We do try and get to those on the show. You can find us on Facebook or at Instagram or at housefluent.com. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, please hit that subscribe button. That does help us out a lot. Let us know. Let your family and friends know about us. That helps us out a ton. So really appreciate you guys. Are you ready to move on, Kelly?
Let's go.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the smart home update, Bill Beck. Okay. So we're gonna rehash a little bit of some of the territory we covered last year. So we're talking about fire safety, right? And there's a lot of smart devices that are really being targeted now towards keeping your home safe from fires, right? The obvious ones and the ones that kind of started the craze are the smoke detectors, right? Now they've got the 4-in-1 safe smoke detectors that detect, natural gas and monoxide and, fire and heat and everything else.
Small boy in the area.
Yeah. The jury's still out as
Young
to, how well some of those work, but
Young boy with matches.
young boy with matches, can of Lysol and a match.
That would have been me.
So, there's those, but there's other things too that we're not thinking about that are being used in conjunction with smoke alarms, that are smart that, are helping. So one thing is smart outlets, right? So people aren't thinking about the fact that, hey, some of these fires are caused by accidentally leaving on appliances, right? You left the iron. You left the iron on. Or you left the coffee pot going, or you left a hot plate and something sitting on it. Well, these smart outlets now can detect overloads and things, and they can actually shut the power down, and they can actually be set even on a timer. So you can say, hey, look, I know I've got the coffee pot plugged in here. I want you to shut it down after 15 minutes, and it'll shut the outlet power off. So that's actually helping people, and helpful in fire prevention, which is pretty cool. So, and then Bill, your favorite, the smart circuit breakers.
Smart circuit breakers.
Yeah, we talked about these. There's a company out there that's got a smart load panel, and the circuit breakers are all intelligent and
So
do
they're
some
all
pretty
like
interesting things.
thermal, like heat. They all
No,
sense
they're
heat.
still AFCI, GFCI, right? But they're a little bit smarter in that most GFCI breakers, believe it or not, if you get a kind of a temporary ground fault situation, they'll let you reset them.
Okay.
These are smarter than that. So these actually measure the current and things, and they know they can better predict that it's going to happen again, and they actually lock the whole circuit out. So there's no way that you can do anything until you've corrected the problem.
I can see those being jumped quickly and
Oh yeah,
causing a
no,
fire.
there's no, there's nothing stopping you
Why
from
won't
yanking
this
that and
work?
putting in
Fix it now.
a breaker in. But the thing with them
When
is
you need
they're
toast, you need toast.
yeah, that's right. So,
right.
but they are
My hair dryer just
yeah, no, but they are attempting to be somewhat more intelligent about this, and really help with that. The other thing that we're seeing as a trend, and we're starting to see this in more new construction homes, are fire suppression systems.
Yeah.
They're actually putting these into homes now, and some cities are requiring them once your home hits a certain square footage. Whether that be 4,500 square foot or whatever it is. As they're building them, they're requiring that they put these fire suppression systems in. And some of them are just a traditional, it's got the glass bead in the sprinkler head. And, when it melts, then that particular sprinkler comes on. Others are a little smarter than that. Others actually tie into the cloud or, your smart home network. And they work off of a combination of heat and other things. And some of them are so smart that you can push a button and set one off on your own. You could argue whether or not that's smart.
Put that button way up high.
The button is on your phone, so don't let the kids play with it.
Question about that: are those required to be annually inspected like commercial?
That's a good
sprinkler
question.
systems are?
I don't know the answer to that, which is
I guess
something
it
I
would
rarely
depend on
say.
the municipality.
Yeah, I would assume that's a city by city thing, but we are starting to see more and more of those, and we inspect them fairly regularly.
I'm really surprised we don't have anything in attics yet, because that
Yeah.
seems to be one of the problems with everybody I've known
does.
that's got hit with lightning.
Yeah,
The fire's above their smoke detectors.
that's
Yeah.
right.
It's in the attic, and so there's nothing,
It's in the attic
nothing
where
goes off.
your gas lines are, and there's lots of wood and
Yeah.
lots of air coming in, combustion air. Yeah,
Stored items.
stored items, all kinds of
But
things.
but it's not going to set off your smoke detectors because it's
Right.
above them. So
Yeah, no, that's right. So, what's your impression of fire safety? I think it's going to a good place. I do. I think.
I think it all has a good. Once again, as long as things don't get too complicated.
Yeah.
Because that's where people will start shutting stuff off and
Yeah.
not wanting them. And Most people
Right.
can't handle a stupid smoke detector that the battery goes dead on, and they
Right.
rip it off the ceiling because they don't like. Everybody see that Friends episode? But, but I mean, they would rather get rid of it so it stops beeping than.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
You know, I've looked at the back of some of my smoke detectors. It actually has a date on there where
Yeah,
you have to
they
replace
expire.
them.
They do.
They all do,
Yeah.
and
7 to 10 years.
yeah, and none of it.
Some of them will
it's
actually.
still working.
Some of them will actually automatically. I don't want to say shut down, but they'll actually automatically expire. Like
Yeah.
you won't be able to use them, and you'll have to replace
Well, a
them.
lot of them too. When you look it up, it'll be superseded to the next model too.
Yeah.
They don't. You can't even get those anymore. So
Right. Yeah.
luckily,
absolutely.
they'll usually have a replacement.
All right. Well, remember.
Conveniently.
So remember to tweet at us at HouseFluent. Use the hashtag MyHomeQuestion. We do try and get to those on the show. You can find us on Facebook or to Instagram or at housefluent.com. And if you are listening to us on your podcast app, please hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. Billy, ready to talk about some client questions?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. So I am moving in from out of town and won't be able to be there for the inspection. How critical is it that I'm there?
We've done it both ways. I mean, we've done it with people there and not there.
Yeah.
Is it easier when they're there? Definitely, because you can show them things that you see.
Yeah.
You know, but we do a lot of photos and a lot of video on our reports anyway, so it wouldn't be. It's not that hard to go over it on
Yeah.
the phone because they can look. They can see a lot of the stuff we're talking about and follow along as we're going through it. So either way, it's fine. But if they're on site, it is definitely more helpful for us, or
Yeah.
just easier to talk to them.
Sure. So I would add to that in today's world, there's no reason why you can't be at the inspection, even if you are, half a world away.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Right.
So with the way technology is today, and certainly at our company, and if you're not working with an inspection company that can do this, you may want to consider, a different company. But, we can actually bring you into your future home or your current home or whatever your situation is, even if you're halfway around the world. We can bring you in there. We can walk through everything, as you said, on our report
Depending
online.
on the quality of our internet service.
Depending on the
Yes.
quality, yes, of course. I mean, there are still areas in the world where that's a little spotty, but for the most part, we're able to do it. And, we can bring you in. We can discuss things. If there's something we want to show you, we can show you right on the camera. And we've done this several times with clients where, we'll either set up a webinar where we'll show them the report because it's at a later time than the inspection time, or in some cases we've been in the house with the realtor and we're on FaceTime or some
Yeah.
other video app, and we're talking to them, we're showing them things, we're showing you the report, and we're going through things. So if you're working with a company, that can't do those things, that doesn't have those capabilities, and that's important to you, maybe find one that can, because there's several good companies out there, including us, that have that ability. So, all right. So, Bill, what kind of shingles do you recommend? That's question 2.
Cedar.
Cedar shake.
Yeah.
So
3/8-inch aluminum plate.
aluminum
Yeah.
plate.
In Texas, yeah. Do they make
So-
Nerf roofs yet?
Pretty close.
Need a Nerf roof.
They actually make something now called F-Wave, and they claim it's going to be the last roof you'll ever buy.
all say that.
I know. I haven't actually seen one in person yet. It's a fairly new product. They're interesting. They're self-healing. So they do get damaged, but they are self-healing. So as they heat up, the polymers in them regenerate. It's
Okay.
sort of like a self-sealing fuel tank or something.
What do those
They'll-
run?
Oh, they ain't be cheap, as they say.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, unobtainium. That's right. No, they are expensive. They are what's called an investment roof. They claim
Investment.
an investment
I like
roof.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is supposedly the last roof you'll ever buy. How true that is, don't know.
It's the last roof you'll ever afford.
Yeah, that may be.
Does anybody know why we don't have lightning rods in Texas? I've always wondered that. I wondered that since the
Yeah, I
time
don't know.
I've
I
been
think
here.
some houses do, right?
Some
So
do.
Not many.
we inspected a home not too long ago that did. So the 10,000 square foot house
Yeah.
that we inspected not all that long
It's
ago
one of the
had
only
them.
ones we've ever looked at.
Yeah, that had them. So I don't know. That's a good question.
I didn't think they were that hard to install, but you just don't see any. And
Yeah, I
with
don't
all
know.
that's probably my number one fear here is the lightning, just because
Yeah.
You have no control over it where it's going to hit.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
You kind of hope. I always assume it. My neighbors' houses on both sides of me are a little bit taller, so I'm always like, okay, they'll hit them first. This doesn't work that way.
So I guess to answer the question, outside of something like an investment roof where you're looking at some kind of metal or this new F-wave technology, something like that, some type of Class 4 shingle really isn't going to be that much more expensive as far as a traditional shingle, and it's going to get you a little further down the road. So something like that wouldn't be bad. That's more like an architectural type shingle.
It's one of those things where you probably get what you pay for.
Yeah, you do definitely get what you pay for. So,
assuming that your installer does it correctly.
right.
I'm gonna mount like 20 flamethrowers on my roof, aimed straight up. So if it's hailing,
It's just gonna melt them
gonna
before
melt
it
them
gets.
before it
Yeah,
gets
nice. I like that.
And then
Hail
we're back-
defense system.
We're back to the beginning.
Speaking
our
of fire
show,
safety.
Fire
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah. So Bill's gonna install a hail defense system in his
right.
house. Yeah, I like that.
And you can roast hot dogs.
Yeah, right. Bonus. So, all right. So, question 4: do you guys give referrals for local contractors, and if so, do you receive payments for those referrals? So
do we really want to go into this?
we do.
We've received so many payments. for
Yeah.
these.
So
No.
so we do give referrals to local contractors. They are local contractors that we know and trust and work with, and have relationships with.
I thought you guys weren't allowed by law to be able to do that.
No, we can give referrals. We do not receive payment at all,
Can't
ever.
There's no kickbacks.
Yeah, they're ever. But we do have a list of vendors or contractors that if our clients need something done, we can point them in the direction of a couple of 2 or 3 very competent people that can help them, right? We've talked about this a little bit before. We're not the only people that have lists like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your insurance company is a great resource. They work with contractors all day, every day with claims. They know the good ones from the bad ones. Oftentimes they're going to have a network, right? That they work with, and they're going to have standards, as do we. But your realtor is somebody else.
Yeah, a lot of the agents have their own lists.
Yeah.
I mean, do your research.
Definitely do your research.
Not only that, talk to. I always tell people, talk to your neighbors. Most of them have houses that are the same age, that are going through the same issues. If it was a builder thing, that they might all have the same
Yep.
problem. They might have somebody already that helped them.
Yep.
Talk to your neighbors.
Yeah, don't just go with the the flyer in the mail or the card on your doorstep or the list on the internet, unless it's us, of course. And then we encourage you to
We've done
please
all
give us
those
a
things.
call. Yeah, we encourage you to please give us a call. But no, I mean Bill's right. Do your research, talk to folks, use your network. Find people that are really truly local, competent providers that are going to be around that that you can find and get a hold of.
All right.
So, Kelly,
Yeah.
so congratulations, man. You have a new show going live this Saturday.
I do.
I am excited about it. Why don't you tell people about it?
Well, it's a very short show. It's about 10 minutes long. It's just called I Know Just Enough to Be Dangerous. And it's basically my musings on...
Speaking of fires.
Speaking of fires, we'll get into my own version of fire safety. So I'm not a professional or an expert in anything, but I am a kind of a jack of all trades.
Master of nothing.
Master of nothing.
Master of Nothing. I like that. Yeah.
And I just it's a show where I can talk about whatever I feel like I want to talk about. It's my little soapbox.
It's your little soapbox. It's going to be available.
It's going to be available everywhere this show is available.
No. I meant it's going to be out on Saturdays.
It's going to be out on Saturdays.
Is it going to be every Saturday, or what are we doing here?
I'm going to shoot for a weekly show. Yeah.
Weekly show. So every Saturday you get 15 minutes of Kelly time.
15 minutes of me.
That's awesome. I love it.
No video.
No video. Hey, that's
video.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Chicken, come on.
Oh, yeah, where's yours, Bill?
So we get 15 minutes of Kelly every Saturday. I am looking forward to this. So I've heard the first show, and I got to tell you, Bill,
Video will come.
it's awesome.
I have. not
It is
heard
awesome. I love it, actually.
I appreciate it. It's
What did you talk about? What was your first show about?
Tools.
Tools. All right.
Tools and
I thought
tool
we-
storage.
We could talk tools.
Wait, did I listen to the right show? I thought it was because last week we talked about your first show being about coronaviruses.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, so but no, he's right. It is tools.
Coronavirus is a microbrewing.
Yeah, no, it is tools, and it is a really good show. So if you are a homeowner, you are not going to want to miss this. This is all of Kelly's mistakes that you don't have to make.
This is true. I've made them all, so you don't have to.
So that's right.
Have the scars to prove it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good time. So,
All right.
all right, you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Let's wrap her up.
Hit it, Kelly. Oh man, he beat me to it. Thank you for listening to Housefluent Inspections Radio. We hope you enjoyed the podcast today. Remember, you can always tweet at us at Housefluent. Go to housefluent.com to book a home inspection, read articles about stress-free home buying, home selling, or home ownership, or just generally get to know us. And so that's it. So, what do we have going on this week, Bill?
Hopefully inspections.
Inspections, right? Yeah, we do have inspections going on. So what's Kelly have going on?
He's got to work on his next show.
He's going to work on his next show?
Yeah, see if he can start a fire in the garage.
Yeah?
Still a lot of electrical work.
I can do that.
Yeah?
We did some welding this week and we didn't burn anything down, so that was pretty good.
Wait,
Welding.
You welded?
We welded.
Okay,
That's going to be another show topic.
Yeah. All right. So you have my curiosity. What'd you weld?
Tools.
Cool.
We were making tools.
Yeah, we're making our own. Yes. Roll your own.